All right, welcome to the first ever edition of DWU Insiders. I'm your host, Ian McClanahan, and I'll be walking you through every single sport here on campus, all the way from the national runner-up basketball team, all the way to the soccer and baseball teams. But to start off today's show, we're going to start off with the basketball team. And up here we have Tate Martin, Terrell Newton, and Jalen Voss. So to start off, Tate, we're going to ask you a few questions. So what were some of the big games from last season for you guys?
I think when we think about last season, I'd probably start off talking about the two statement games we made right away in the season against Briarcliff and Midland, which were, I think they were both two top 10 teams, and I don't think a lot of people expected us to get off to such a hot start this year, and us, knocking them off at home at the beginning of the year was a big statement we made early.
Okay. Terrell, what were some big moments there early on in the season and then throughout the season that, helped carry you guys on throughout?
I'd have to agree with what Tate said, and I'd also include the Morningside game. That was in a little stretch where we had a 3-game run against some top teams in the conference, and we fared really well against them, and I think it propelled us in how we did throughout the season.
Okay. And then quick question for Jalen. You guys were doing so well throughout the season, and near the end of the season, you guys were the #1 seed almost, and you guys were just basically the favorites, never lost at home throughout the whole season. And then you guys end up losing to Midland in the semifinal of the GPAC tournament. How did that affect you guys going into the national tournament?
I think we kind of played with a chip on our shoulder from that point. Midland was really good. They played really well that game, but yeah, we had something to prove when we were going down to the national tournament. So. Okay.
And so back to Tate, what was the experience like down there in Branson, Missouri for the national tournament?
It was a dream come true. I think for our seniors especially, because they worked hard their whole careers here at DWU, and to be rewarded with their final year going to Branson and making such a big run that we did, I think it just goes to show how hard we worked all year, and I hope we get back there in the future in my next 2 years I have here, and it was fun.
Okay, cool. And Terrell, all you guys can answer this question, but start with Terrell. But what was your favorite game in the national tournament down there?
I'd have to say the championship game. Even though we lost, it was a unique experience, and it was just so nice to see them guys be able to go out and have an opportunity to play for a championship and represent our school in the highest honor. So that was really cool.
Okay, Jalen.
I'm going to have to say the College of Idaho game. I think it's because College of Idaho was huge. They were athletic. They were big. We had no business winning that game, and I think that we played really well and showed that we were there to play.
All right, Tate.
I'd have to say the Final Four game against Davenport, because it's the Final Four, so we knew what stage we were on at that point in the tournament, and then we just came out and made a huge statement, been blowing them out I think by 20 or 30.
Right.
So I don't think anybody expected us to do that, and then
Right. Okay. Awesome. And so now we're gonna kind of ask Jalen here a few questions. Obviously you're a senior, you graduated, and you love basketball. Basketball is your life and everything. So, kind of, what are your future plans here now that you've graduated?
Hopefully continue to play basketball. If that falls through, hopefully I'll get into coaching. Like you said, I love basketball, so it's going to be hard for me to give it up. So.
Right. So what are your thoughts on next season then? Once you graduate, you're seeing where everyone is right now and how the team's doing in their off-season workouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what's it look like?
They got a bunch of guys stepping up. They got Tate's being a great leader out there. Everybody else, Terrell too. I think Coach Bo is going to do a good job, and they're gonna have a successful season.
Okay. And so looking back at your past 4 years, you've been a starter. Most of your career here. And looking back at it, what were some of your favorite memories here from the past 4 years?
I'm going to have to say Branson for sure. We never were down there before, but when we did go down there, it was a pretty big-time tournament, and it was pretty awesome. So.
Okay. And then looking back at you guys, you guys still have a few years or a year left, and you guys are in the thick of your off-season workouts. What are the expectations for you guys? After you make the national championship game, they can't get much better than that. What are your guys' expectations now for this upcoming season?
Expectations in our program, it's a day-by-day thing. It's more about the effort and doing what you have to do to get to that point, breaking it down into small proportions. And, if you look at getting back to the national tournament now or focusing on next season, you tend to get overwhelmed.
Okay.
So we just break it down into little bits.
Yeah, I have to agree with basically everything that Terrell just said. We're not, it's a big stage that we were at in Branson, so we're not even looking to that right now. We're not looking towards any games right now, next season, or any players having to take big roles. We're just trying to get better every day, get stronger in the weight room, and hopefully we have some freshmen that come in and step up.
All right, yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us on today's show, and good luck next year to you guys, and good luck on your future here, Jalen. And when we come back, we'll be talking to the baseball team, so come back and we'll have those guys up here with us. All right, welcome back to DW Insiders. I'm your host, Ian McClanahan, and up here we have the baseball team with Dom Sebastiani and Michael Kinsler. So you guys were in the thick of your season right now, so Michael, tell us kind of how the season's going so far.
It's been up and down. We started off in the GPAC going 1-7. It started out pretty slow, but we won our last 6 of our 8 games in the GPAC, so we're starting to pick it up a little bit. So we're playing pretty well right now.
All right. Looking back at last season in the GPAC tournament, I mean, you guys had the whole tournament here in Mitchell, and I mean, you guys maybe didn't have any expectations to make the championship game, let alone, make it a few games into the tournament. But you guys did make it to the championship game, and you guys almost made it to the national tournament. So after doing that last year, what are your expectations for this year?
Do the same thing. You get to the tournament, anything can happen. You get hot, you never know. We can do the same thing, make a run.
Right. Okay. Now, Dom, I have a quick question for you. You guys have a brand new head coach this year. What's it like having a new head coach with having to figure out everything like that?
Coach John he was an assistant last couple of years, so it wasn't that big of a change because everyone knew him. He's helped out a lot, but completely different personality from Coach Guest. Yeah.
So do you like it better this year? With Coach Don in there? Or?
Well, because I'm a junior transfer, so I never got to play for Coach Guest,
Okay.
but he recruited me. So, but I like Coach Johnny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many years do you have left then?
One more next year.
One more after this year? All right. So looking at the rest of your guys' schedule right now, who would you guys say might be the toughest competition in these next few games, next few weeks?
Probably Mount Marty.
Yeah.
They're number 2 right now.
Mount Marty.
Yeah.
All right. So what is your guys' expectations or your mindset basically have to be to go into one of those games and just basically take care of business with that?
Exactly what you said. Just got to take care of business. Just play our game. Then everything will take care of itself. We got good pitching, good defense. We'll win it if that happens.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta win. We're at that point where if we don't win, we're done. So.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the show today, and good luck for the next few weeks, and hopefully you guys can make a run again in the GPAC tournament. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Jorgen Munson about the soccer season and what his expectations are for next season. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to DW Insiders. Joining us right now is Jorgen Munson. So, Jorgen, how did last season go for the soccer team?
Last season was good. We had a bit of a rough start at first. We really picked it up. We played Nebraska Wesleyan here at home. We wound up beating them 5-1, and I think that really, after that, we went 6 or 7 games winning streak, which was really good for the team. And then, of course, our biggest game of the year was Hastings, and we wound up meeting them in the conference quarterfinal again. So that's what ended our season. But overall, came out with a winning record, and I think we had a pretty solid team last year.
Right. So you take that momentum. You talked about, obviously you guys lost in the quarterfinals and everything, but you guys had that winning streak and you guys had the momentum going into the end of the season and into the GPAC tournament. How do you guys carry that into next season for you guys to start off the season?
Well, we have a few new players coming in, and we definitely want to keep that momentum. If we can get a winning streak like that again, that's really good for the team. Positive attitudes are a big thing on our team. We try not to look into the past as much. That's kind of our coach's philosophy, just work on what we have now. I don't know. Basically just keep your eye on the horizon, stay positive. We really don't need to work off anything last year as far as scoring, stuff like that.
Right. So have you guys started off season workouts and stuff like that?
Yeah, all winter.
So how's that been going for you guys then?
Weight room sessions have been going good with Coach Hobbs. He seems to really like the soccer team.
It's been kicking you guys' butt at all?
Yeah, he's been kicking our butt. So no, this spring season has looked good, and we're really looking forward to next fall.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on here. And when we come back, we'll have the football team talk about how the spring season went and the expectations for this upcoming season. All right, welcome back to DW Insiders. Joining us right now is Kevin Holt and Dylan Lindy. Kevin is a sophomore wide receiver for the offense, and Dylan is just an insider for the DW football team, taking notes and getting basically all the questions that we need answered for the football team. So to start off, Kevin, how did the spring go for the offense?
Well, I'd say spring ball was really well. We achieved a lot of stuff. I asked Coach Simple the same thing, and he said building off of spring ball, the defense was able to run packages that they weren't able to run in past seasons. So that was a big accomplishment. And for the offense, just understanding a new offense from the new offense coordinator.
Right.
Running new packages, bringing a new tempo to the team.
Right. So with that new offensive coordinator, what was it like trying to gel with him and get everything kind of under the belt?
Well, at first, it was a bit confusing because there's no more cards. It's all hand signals, so it was a little confusing at first, a little tough to memorize. But just going over it in practice, just repetition, we ended up learning it pretty well.
Right. Okay. And so Dylan, I want to ask you a few questions about this upcoming season. I mean, obviously we've had our spring ball season a little bit, and looking into next season, the football team has 4 straight away games to start off the season. And looking back at how they finished last season, I mean, they lost 2 out of the last 3 football games on the road, and so that's not exactly a good sign for the football team looking to start the season off with 4 straight road games. What are the expectations, and how do they handle that to start off the season right away with that kind of schedule?
Well, I think some people will look at you and tell you the expectations might not be as high as they have been in the past years, but I think the expectations should be high. You look at a team that probably should have made the playoffs 2 years ago, and last year had high expectations coming in. They didn't finish as good as they wanted to, but like I said, I think they are expected to do better this year. They had a lot of seniors that didn't really have much of an impact this last year because of injuries, so they're losing guys, but at the same time, those guys weren't always there for them last year. And so you got everyone else on the team that's going to come back, another year of experience under their belt. They're going to be improved. I don't know. I think they'll be there. I think that they could have made the playoffs this last year. I think they could do it this year. You got a freshman quarterback in Dylan Turner. He's going to improve over the offseason. He's going to get better. And he was a freshman. He did really well. So I'm pretty excited to see how he'll do in his sophomore year.
Right. Okay. And so then kind of looking at the team overall, I mean, these past few years, the offense has kind of been the team to carry the team throughout and stuff like that. And now looking at the defensive side, I mean, they have a lot of guys who are experienced, or seniors and juniors, especially the defensive backfield and the linebacking core a little bit. You look at that, how do you think that the defense will be able to carry the team throughout the GPAC season?
Well, like you said, the defense has got a lot of experience. They haven't lost as many guys as the offense has lost. And on the offensive side of the ball, they're dealing with that inconsistency at the offensive coordinator position. They've gone through 3 guys in the past 3 years, getting rid of Prado, and now Kateki's gone, and now they're on to the new guys. So the offense has a lot to learn, and so they're not going to be able to pull the weight maybe as much as the defense can, so they're going to rely on that experience on the defense.
Okay. So we're going to back up a little bit, back to the spring game. So we talked about the spring season and everything. And Kevin, what was the spring game like? I mean, it was bad weather, rainy, everything like that, but I mean, people still came out to watch and to support the team. What was it like out there?
Like you said, people came out in pretty bad conditions, weather conditions, and I think that just shows how built in the community is with our football team. I mean, people want to see us perform at a high level. They want to see us be successful, so I think that was really huge. But going to the game, like you said, it was wet, slippery out there. I mean, it's hard as a running back, wide receiver, quarterback to get your footing in that type of weather. So going off of that, I mean, the defense played really well. The offense kind of went in a little slump, but we found our groove towards the end.
Right. Okay. And Dylan, I mean, you were there, kind of taking notes, stuff like that. I mean, what was your take from a viewer's perspective on that?
Well, actually, I couldn't make it to the spring game. I was out in Wisconsin. I was meeting with Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker, getting them ready for the draft and stuff like that. But no, I heard it was good. I heard that it was a lot better than people anticipated. I heard the rain was kind of a downfall there, but I heard they worked through it and they had fun. I heard positive things from it. I think the team, they're excited about what they can do next year. They're really buying into the program and the coaches.
Right. Okay. And now looking at the spring practices, we'll start with Kevin. Which side do you think made the most improvements?
I feel like we both offensively and defensively made huge improvements. Defensively, like I said, just the packages, and throughout the whole spring ball, they looked like they knew what they were doing. There's really never confusion on their side. Offensively, I felt like we improved really well with the new offense coordinator, learning all those types of plays, and I feel as if we're a lot faster than last year. I mean, like I said, there's no more cards, so you're not looking down at your wrist the whole time trying to get the play. So you're always constantly looking up, moving. So our offense is just kind of like a Oregon type offense, just high tempo.
Right. Okay. And now looking into the summer, I mean, it's a week and a half away. What is the expectation? What's the mindset going into this summer to, maybe some of those guys who are away from Mitchell and stuff like that for the summer? What should be, in the back of their minds, or maybe the front of their minds going into the summer, getting ready and preparing for this fall?
Well, one thing Coach Simple preached was be conditioned. We don't want guys out of shape. I mean, we're obviously all in shape from spring ball and weightlifting in the winter. He doesn't want us just coming in, losing all that. So I feel like lifting weights and having your mindset for next season and the next fall ball coming will play a big part of staying.
Okay. Okay, and we have one more question. We'll start with Dylan and then we'll move to you, Kevin. But now moving on to this next season again and talking about, the start of this season with the road games and everything like that. You start the season up with an in-state rival in DSU. Then after that, you go down to Kansas and play a team in Ottawa. And then after that, the next two games, you have Midland and Briarcliff and going down to the Dome, where the last time Dakota Wesleyan played in the Dome, they killed Briarcliff and just shredded them to pieces. So which out of those 4 games do you think will be the most challenging ones out of those?
Well, off the top of my head, I'm going to say the one down in Kansas. First of all, I think it's a program that we've never played before. We don't know much about them, and so the familiarity isn't there. And then the second thing is the football team's never really traveled anywhere. They've gone to Wisconsin Stout before, but other than that, they haven't really left the Midwest. So that might be a difficult transition for them. But
Okay. Kevin?
Well, I'd probably say the first game against DSU. I mean, they were a good ball club last year, gave us some problems when we should have flat out killed them. I mean, let's be honest, DSU is like our little brother. I mean, beating us is like their Super Bowl, so I think that'll be a huge statement game if we can go out there, execute, and just destroy them, basically. I mean, it'll be a huge statement for teams around the GPAC, letting them know that DWU is for real this year, they're serious.
And DSU's not, I mean, they're not the team that they used to be. I mean, they've been progressing throughout these past few years. So, I mean, starting off the season with them, I mean, you have nothing to go off of. So that will be an interesting game to start the season. And going down to Kansas, that'll definitely be interesting as well, because the last time Dakota Wesleyan traveled any length like that was to Wisconsin Stout and lost there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the season starts off, and if they can get on a roll, then, I mean, watch out. I mean, who knows, there could be a new king of the GPAC next year. So thank you guys for joining us, and Dylan will be joining us after the break to talk about the basketball showcase this weekend. But when we come back, we'll be talking about that. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to DW Insiders. Joining us right now is Tanner Weber, Cody McBriar, and Dylan Lindy. You guys will be talking about the showcase this coming weekend in Sioux Falls. But first off, Cody, why don't you give us a little insight and background into it? I mean, people might not know what it is, but kind of tell us what it is, who leads it, and stuff like that.
Okay, well, this is the 5th year Wesleyan's put this showcase on in Sioux Falls. This first year they're pairing with Shane Warwick, who is a Castle, South Dakota native. He's been 2-time Coach of the Year. Spent 9 years coaching college, 6 years coaching high school, 10 years with player development. I mean, he works with the NBA rookies in preparation for the draft, also free agents that are going into it, and just kind of gets players ready for the NBA or Canada or wherever they want to go play at and get a job.
Okay. So Tanner, looking into that, who are some of the players that might be to watch out for, or maybe some of the coaches that will be coming down? Give us some insight into that, like who will be here for that then?
Okay. Well, some players that are coming this year, we got 2 former NAIA National Players of the Year, and Joe Mitchell and Jonathan Dunn. So it should be interesting to see their talents at the showcase, to see what they can, or see if they can put on a show. Some underrated guys that I'm kind of curious and watching is Juwan Buchanan from Adams State in Colorado. He shot 57% from the field and 17 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and it's also Sean Kemp's nephew, so it should be interesting to see him as well.
So looking at that, with the coaches that'll be there looking at those guys, I mean, the guys who are underdog, the guys who are expected, I mean, the national players of the year, I mean, they're expected to do well. Who are some of the coaches that might be coming down from Canada, back from China and stuff like that? Who are some of those guys that would be looking at those guys, and where could these players possibly go if they do well enough, where could they possibly go after here?
Well, we got a few guys coming down from the NBL Canada. Carlos Knox from the London Lightning. Hopefully, if the players do well, they can hopefully sign in the NBL Canada or go over to China or internationally, possibly.
Okay. So Dylan, what are some expectations for these players, whether they're expected to be the best players there or expected to, not even do anything there? What are their expectations for the showcase?
I'm not really sure. I guess it just kind of depends who you are and what you're looking for. Obviously, there's not going to be the most supreme NBA level talent there. But, people that want to go keep playing after college, playing overseas, playing up in Canada, there's good opportunities. They can make some money. They can play basketball longer. So, I don't know.
Right. Okay. So, off of that, going this weekend, it's a brand new facility, stuff like that, but it's the 5th year. After the 5th year, and Shane obviously knows what he's doing, what are some of the drills and stuff like that that some of the players could possibly see, and what are some stuff that the coaches should be expecting to see out of these players?
Well, I haven't seen a finalized list of the drills that they'll be participating in, but I guarantee I've seen some of the stuff Shane's done before. I know he'll do a lot with dribbling, and he'll probably do a lot with different moves and pull-up jumpers and stuff like that, just to see where their players, what they got for dribbles. With the big guys, they're just going to do a lot of different post work, obviously. I'm not quite sure what he does for defense. I haven't really spent that much time with Shane, but I've heard he's done a good job.
Okay. Well, we will be excited to see how that goes this weekend and see kind of how the 5th annual of that turns out, and we'll obviously talk about that next Monday to see what who did the best, what the coaches think about that, everything like that. But that is all the time that we have for today, so thank you for joining us. Catch us tomorrow on our 2nd edition of DWU Insiders.